Every single year, there's always a brand new Call of Duty game that ends up coming out. And year after year, some of them feel pretty much the same. Some of them feel new in their own right. And of course, some of that has to do with the different developers who take lead on each of these new Call of Duty releases. And it's no secret if you've been following this channel, a lot of the games that I test when I'm talking about Xbox or even just talk about in general when it comes to games I'm enjoying playing, I'm huge into Call of Duty, and I'm definitely one of the guys who every single year that a new Call of Duty title releases, I'm out there picking it up. But what I've realized is the past couple releases, while I've enjoyed them, they don't hold the flame to some of the previous entries, with one in particular that I'm a huge fan of, which is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And in this video, I'm going to kind of go over a bit of a retrospective of that game. I know it's only been 4 years or so since it was released, but I'm going to go over why I believe that's one of the best recent Call of Duty titles that's been released, and some of the things that I think it just does so well compared to some of the newer Call of Duty games that are out. So let's take a look. One of my regrets was I ended up trading Black Ops Cold War for Vanguard when that came out, and didn't at the time really look back. However, to me, Vanguard definitely felt like it wasn't hitting the right notes as Black Ops Cold War was. But following that, Modern Warfare 2 came out, and I do think that was a good Call of Duty entry. However, it still didn't feel as tight as some of the previous Call of Duty games that I was accustomed to. And of course, then you get Modern Warfare 3, which I have been enjoying, but still, it's felt like it's lost its way a little bit compared to what I expect from most Call of Duty games. And going back, I ended up looking at the Xbox store, and they had Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, the next gen version, on sale for like 30 bucks or something. So I had a bit of nostalgia for that game. I played it quite a bit when it was out, and I decided to, you know what, I'm going to jump back in this title, because when it was out, I remember that being one of the Call of Duties that I played most consistently and had the most fun with. And out of the gate, one of the things that I noticed was the maps in general all feel very well designed. They all feel intricate. They feel good. I like the different layouts. They look complicated, some of them, but they don't play complicated like I found with some of the newer Call of Duty maps that are out in some of the more recent titles, which to me is a big deal. And the better thing about this as well is this entry of Call of Duty, they did a really good job of being able to maximize respawning in a good way. What I mean by that is it doesn't respawn you too far, it doesn't respawn you too close. It gives you a nice balance between other players or where you're respawning to always make you feel like you're back in the action no matter the size of the map, which to me was one of the largest issues and is still an issue with the last 3 Call of Duty entries that have come out. For me, those are big issues that really detract from a lot of the fun, and what I found now is it encourages an excessive level of camping in a lot of these games, because it turns into this situation where, because guys are spawned so far apart, people can spend time hiding and finding hiding spots, and to me, that doesn't make for good Call of Duty. I know for some people that's their play style, but for me, playing some of the older titles and having been playing this series since it's pretty much its inception, it kind of detracts from a lot of the fun and a lot of the movement of the game. The other thing, and probably one of the bigger points of this that I really like, is the time to kill across all weapons in this game are pretty good. They don't, what I feel like one of the problems with the newer Call of Duty, for example, is the time to kill ratio seems way too high. So it feels like no matter what gun you're using, almost each guy you're shooting at, it feels like a bullet sponge. And that to me did detract a lot of the fun from Call of Duty. Now, Modern Warfare 2's wasn't as bad as the newest entry, but it was still something that bothered me when I was playing Call of Duty, because again, it felt like guys were taking way too long to die when you're shooting at them, and it seemed like even when your shots were hitting, it just felt like you had to put more and more and more to end up getting that final kill shot, which ends up leading me to my next point. And this has to do with the way the guns are balanced. Throughout Black Ops Cold War, I've been playing on a bunch of my older classes that I had saved from back in 2020, 2021 when I was playing this actively. And almost every gun, while they have their own differences, they feel pretty good. And this is, to me, probably the biggest problem with the newest Call of Duty games that have come out, and that it feels like if you don't get the right gun or find the right gun that everyone's using, you don't really have a chance against everyone else, and it becomes a game of me going online and trying to find the best configuration in order to even keep up with guys who are seasoned at Call of Duty, which is probably one of the biggest detracting points from the game, because it kills from a bit of the play style of encouraging people to try different weapons and customize them in different ways that games like Black Ops Cold War did a phenomenal job of. Yes, there's different guns that have more power than others and all that sort of thing, but it doesn't feel like that curve is tailed towards one extreme end with one specific gun. It feels like each gun you pick up, as long as you're skilled enough at playing the game, you can survive and you can do well in the game. And so Call of Duty Black Ops, to me, was probably one of the last Call of Duties, having gone back in recent time and put a bunch more hours into it again, that really balanced out what makes Call of Duty great in an intuitive way. And this goes across all modes. I mostly play free-for-all and team deathmatch, but I even tried some of the other modes, and they all feel well balanced, and they all work very well around a lot of the constituents of how they design the time to kill, balance the weapons out, and design the maps in general in this entry of Call of Duty. And the purpose of this video for me was, in my opinion, I think that game when it came out didn't really get much of a fair shot from a lot of Call of Duty fans. But over the years, I've been thinking about that game and thinking about how it was one of the recent Call of Duty titles, 4 years recent to you, that I really seriously enjoyed and had a ton of fun and time invested into, that just felt good playing overall across maps, weapons, everything felt really good. And I think in some ways, some of the newer Call of Duties that are inevitably going to come out can definitely take a page out of Black Ops Cold War's book and really balance themselves out in a way that can make them a lot more fun moving forward. Because unfortunately, while I do like Modern Warfare 3 after having put in an insane amount of hours into it, I can't really bring myself to go back to that Call of Duty, purely because the balance and the playing curve just feels radically off from some of the previous titles, and especially a great entry in the series like Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.